So I'm waiting in the waiting room, and there's like nothing to read. So I'm just sitting there, and all of a sudden this little old man comes in, and he seems like a very chipper little old man. And, you know, he takes his coat off and, like, hangs it up on the rack. I never do that. I always bring mine with me. You just never know with people. Somebody could just steal your freaking coat. Who knows? So, anyways, he's standing, you know, around in the waiting room. He's not, like, sitting down like all the other normal people would normally do. And he, like, is sort of standing there hovering by me, and he's like, "It's a nice day out, isn't it?" And I'm like, "Yeah, it's really nice. Any day without snow in February is a nice day." And he chuckles a little bit. And he's just sort of standing there awkwardly. And I'm like, "Okay, like, what the hell do you want me to keep talking to you?" Like, it's really early in the morning. I'm tired. I don't really want to talk right now. So he finally goes and sits down, and, like, I'm watching the TV that they have on in the waiting room, and it's some stupid home improvement show or whatever. And I look over and I see this little old man. He takes out like a plastic baggie from his pants, and it's got like mints in it, like Altoid mints or something. And he had 2 mints in the baggie. And he takes one and he puts it in his mouth, and then he like wraps the little baggie up and like folds it up into this nice little neat package and puts the 1 mint in the baggie back in his pocket. I'm like, how bizarre is that? So anyways, I'm sitting there and I'm waiting, and then like, as soon as you walk in, there is a sign, well, before you walk in, on like outside near the door, there's a sign that says, "No smoking on the premises." And I see this guy walking up to the building. He's puffing on a cigarette with a cup of coffee in his hand. And I'm like, that's friggin' awesome. It says no smoking right there, and you're just puffing away. That's too funny. So Joe Camel comes in and, like, does his thing, and he starts talking to me. He goes, "What kind of crappy reading material they got here today? It seems like they never have anything good to read." And I was like, "Yeah, you're probably right." He's like, "Yeah, they take all the books back to the rooms, and then they don't bring them back." Like, he's all pissed off and shit because there's nothing good to read in the waiting room. Like, really? Like, get over it. What do you want? Bring your own magazine, Joe Camel. It was just really funny. So then, like, this weird, random dude, like, walks in and he checks in and he hobbles over and like, there's like a jillion seats in the waiting room, and like, old man is like in the corner on the opposite side of me, and like, Joe Camel's like down the row, like, far away from me. This guy, like, out of all the seats in the waiting room, picks like the one right in front of where I'm sitting. It's so funny. He sits down and he crosses his legs, like, and he whips out this book, and I'm, like, intrigued. So I looked at the title of the book, and it said, "Dumb Things That Smart Christians Do." And I was like, oh my god, who reads that? Really? So, Buddy's reading his book, and then, like, a few minutes later, I see him whip out another book. So naturally, I have to look and see what he's reading. He whipped out a frickin' Bible and was reading from the Bible. It was so funny. I can't believe that, like, he brought his Bible and his, like, dumb Christian book to the waiting room to read. It was just so funny. Like, I don't know. So, it was really awkward in the waiting room with all these strange men. There's, like, no women. And then, like, this, like, stocky, like, I don't know, like, he's probably, like, old school jock or whatever. He looks like maybe a little bit older than I am. He walks in, and the lady's like, "Oh, I have some paperwork that I need you to fill out." And he's like, pops this, like, crazy attitude, and he's like, "I filled that out the last time I was here." And she's like, "Well, actually, you didn't, and you need need to fill it out. And he's like, this is crap. And he, like, takes the clipboard and, like, shuffles over and, like, sits down and he starts scrawling away. I'm like, really? Don't have such an attitude problem. Maybe they needed to give you some drugs and calm you down or something. I thought that was so funny. I just, like, random experiences, you know, that you pop into, but doctor waiting room, very interesting this morning. So that's my little rant on the doctor's office today. But yeah, so I'll be back in a few. Bye.